This is my review on Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer from 2007, the sequel to the 2005 Fox Fantastic Four movie. This is a serious attempt for a Fantastic Four movie to tell a more mature story that's also dark. And they feel a bit dead. While the first one succeeded at making fun of the superhero genre and poking fun of the source material and playing for tongues and cheeks, this one's supposed to play for this one's playing for straight. And it doesn't really work. And also Galactus, the design on the Galactus sign sucks. Instead of using the design in the comics, which is a big purple giant, they decide to make him a fucking giant space cloud. No face, this is a space cloud. And that's what Silver Surfer has to fight it off against in the end, in the climax, that we can barely make out. Excuse me. And that's this bad ideas, this doing that shit like that, you know? Oh, and Doom is cured and normal again. Then he makes a suit, a new Doom suit, and steals the board from the Silver Surfer when it's being kept into custody. Silver Surfer has changed the heart, goes through a character arc of the villain of the film, and is played to be really a sympathetic character and only does because to save his own kind. And the more I think about it, I really think how little this matters to the plot in the long run. Because Silver Surfer, he makes a sacrifice, but it's pointless in it because he's ended up alive at the end. So it's not really a real sacrifice, and it ends for season a third installment that never happened. Because Marvel Studios now is going to make a Fantastic Four movie that's going to be so much better than this one. Oh, give me a break. Oh boy. Somehow I doubt that. Oh, and this one's rated PG instead of PG-13 like the original. 2005 one. This one's PG instead of PG-13. So you know that you're going to have less action and less fun. Yay. But they still give you a strip scene with Jessica Alba for us, the audience. And also a tease at her being nude, and looked admired by all the crowd around her as Susan Storm. Girl power. I guess. This movie is kind of stupid and feels very unbalanced at times. Unlike the first one, compared to the first one's a masterpiece compared to this one. But I'm not sure if that's exactly a high-quality Fantastic Four movie either. So, Rise of the Silver Surfer, to me, I'm giving a 5 out of 10. And before I go any further to my next review, subscribe to my channel and join this content. And now I'm going to talk about the first one. So the first was titled this is called Fantastic Four. And okay, I have problems with this movie. I think Michael Chiklis is great as the Thing, but terrible as Ben Grimm. Because Ben Grimm is supposed to be this handsome stud in the comics, and therefore that's the tragedy of why he becomes the Thing. Because he was this handsome stud, and now he's basically this hideous monster, basically, on the outside. And that was the tragic part of Ben Grimm, what made him sympathetic. And he's played by Michael Chiklis, and I felt like he wasn't as sympathetic as he could have been, because Michael Chiklis is not like one of those guys, like that every guy a guy that's really handsome necessarily, like Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans even. I mean, he's a great actor, don't get me wrong, so I think it was a little miscasted to play Ben Grimm, the human side of Ben Grimm, but not really necessary. But he was fine once he became the Thing. In fact, I was happy when he became the Thing because he was much more believable as a Thing. And therefore I was kind of looking forward when he going to become the Thing, you know? Once I knew how good he was after I played this movie. So I didn't feel bad for him. That's kind of the problem. I was liked him too much as the Thing, and not enough as Ben Grimm. He's just not believable Ben Grimm, and plus he's bald, and Ben Grimm's supposed to have a full head of hair and supposed to be really jacked and tall in the comics. And on the young side. This guy's kind of old to be Ben Grimm, I think. And another problem I had was they made Johnny way too fucking old. He looks like he's 25 in this movie, instead of being 15, like in the comics. And I bring this up to you because telling the origin story of the Fantastic Four. And it's a very, like all 2000s adaptations of origin story, a very shitty, loose adaptation it is. A watered down version of the source material. So, that's why Johnny, I think, comes across annoying more than he does in the comics. See, Johnny acts exactly the right level of inappropriate and obnoxious he does in the comics. But the problem is, when he acts like that in the comics, around acting all childish and out of control, that's when he's 15 in the comics. Around the age of 15, when he first started being the Human Torch. The same age as Spider-Man, basically, when he started being Spider-Man. So, and he was kind of always the odd one, the young one of the group. So it really makes it weird how he doesn't look like the youngest of the group, but Jessica Alba does. Because Jessica Alba, her character in the comics, you see, in the comics, the Fantastic Four, the ones who went on the ones who became the Fantastic Four, there's only 3 adults on the Fantastic Four and 1 minor, which is Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. in the comics when the origin story plays out. And because Johnny's on the young side, he's not as annoying. Like, because he's on the young side, he's more forgiving. But because now he's in his 20s or 30s or whatever, he looks like 25 to me. But I'm guessing he's 25 or in the mid 30s maybe. I'm not really sure. Okay. So anyway, this movie, this is underwhelming with his cast. And I like Johnny Storm better when he became the Team Torch better than before in this movie. And Reed Richards, it is terrible as Reed Richards, I found. In fact, I think his performance is the worst. Because Reed Richards is supposed to be this kind of basically this father figure that's basically always trying to take care of everything, but never making time for anybody, for anyone in his personal life, always trying to fix and never-ending problem, but also trying to fix juggle his personal life with Susan Storm and Johnny and the rest of Fantastic Four in the comics. So I always like that about Reed Richards, and he was the lead of the Fantastic Four, and very interesting lead because of that, I thought. Because he was always trying to juggle both things, both being a hero and also basically his relationship with Storm, with Susan Storm, and John Storm, and Ben Grimm, and often failing at it. And struggling, but here they often glance over that and for cheap gags. All of those important elements of all four members, including Susan Storm, who in the comics is basically this the level-headed Fantastic Four member in the comics, and really does try to look out for everybody. And more so than Reed Richards does, actually. So she was always the more overbearing one of the Fantastic Four members compared to the in the comics, but they don't really show that at all. Outside of trying to show that to get Ben Grimm and Johnny under control, so they stop fighting. And other than that, it's just they don't do really shit with her except make her strip. Who can complain about that? Just like the Silver Surfer did. When she needs to turn invisible, she needs to strip. And that's why I give Fantastic Four a 5 out of 10. Goodbye, subscribe to my channel, please.